Right, okay, so politics first of all, some serious talk. India, what is going on? Right, this thing about Kashmir. Right, those of you that don't know, Kashmir recently has come back in the news. India has revoked an article which they had, which was Article 370, and it basically because Kashmir is a disputed territory, it had there was an article that protected its land and territory, so non-Kashmiris couldn't go in there and buy up all the land. And they've revoked that. So now that in and of itself, personally, I don't know how big of a deal that is in and of itself. One could argue that that's a national issue to do with the politics of a country and other people shouldn't really get a say. And I could, to some extent, agree with that. I could see that, look, a country, a sovereign state has its own rights, and people have always been, because the politics behind why they're doing this is to degentrify, to kind of dilute the population of Kashmir. So they want to kind of move people in, forced settlements, I mean not forced, but open it up so people will buy it up and they'll kind of dilute the population within a few generations. Now, to some extent, that has been going on throughout human history, throughout the world. So that in and of itself, I'm sure is problematic, but to what scale can be argued by people. But the greater issue is that, you see, it's not just that. It's the oppression that is being carried out, the atrocities. So when they announced this, the Indian government, they dispatched another, I think, 38,000 soldiers to the existing, I think, 100,000 at least soldiers they have that are stationed within, within Jammu Kashmir, so the Indian occupied Kashmir, and the whole place is just a living hell. So in the last few weeks, they've completely cut off all communication, cut off power sources, electric, whatever kind of media outlets that you have. I believe that they've even disengaged all phone networks and things like this. They've stopped supplies being brought in. They've stopped people from allowing them to leave. It's just been, from what I hear, an absolute nightmare for the people that are living there. Sorry, somebody said it's not 100k, it's over 700k, 700,000 troops they have there. That may well be the case. I apologize if I understated that. But it's a highly, highly militarized zone. It is not, natural isn't even the word. It's a living hellhole in what is a perceptible paradise on earth. And, because when you get that many soldiers and then you have this rhetoric that these people are different, they're a different race, they're a different faith, you have this narrative, or they're the enemy, us versus them. And then there's obviously targeting going on, targeting the young men, which naturally those people will get angry. And then in retaliation, they will just kill them, or they will imprison them, or mutilate them, or blind them, and things like this. And with women, they'll usually just harass the women, rape the women, kill the women, molest them. These kind of things have become, unfortunately, a norm. That's how tragic the situation is in Kashmir. And I know Pakistan, it's kind of gone back and forth, some of the things. I don't know what a possible solution could be, because now it is being brought to more, it's the attention in front of the international community has become heightened, and more people are taking a certain interest in Kashmir. I do hope that, may Allah grant them ease. I would hope that at least if India could allow, and Pakistan, at least a certain part of both Kashmirs to kind of merge and become an independent state, that would be, I think, the best possible outcome. But Pakistan would have to withdraw from some of Kashmir, and they would have to withdraw from a certain amount of Kashmir and just allow those people to be. I think that would be the best possible kind of outcome. You know, may Allah grant these people ease, because suffering, it's, I don't know, you're lost for words. I'll be honest, you're kind of lost for words, because you see all this and you think, well, you just, because you're helpless. It's just a tragedy, honestly. So I wanted to share some words on that. And then India as a whole, there's, it's being plunged into this far right fanatic state of mind. I don't really understand why people are going that way, but there seems to be this sentiment around the world in a few different countries, like in America, the rise of Trump and the far right. And you're getting that in certain countries. I mean, certain countries like even Germany, and, you know, there was, I mean, even across some parts of Europe, this rise of the far right. We're seeing that, or we've seen it in the UK with Brexit. And in India, it seems to have just really plunged itself into an abyss, because there seems to be all this propaganda that Muslims are taking over. I mean, Muslims are not taking over India. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Muslims have always been a part and parcel of India. They've probably constituted maybe 20% of India, maybe 25%, but that's it. And there seems to be this fear-mongering that, oh my God, they marry 4, 5 wives and they just keep producing children and children. And I've seen these kind of politicians saying, these Indian politicians, that in 20 years Muslims will become the majority in India and they're going to take over, and this is going to become another Muslim country. This is going to become Syria, Yemen, this is going to become Iraq. And all this kind of scaremongering has been really, it's taken a lot of the Indian public, and I think India it's a shame, because it's just becoming ruined. I saw some videos which I wish I didn't see, honestly. I saw some on being shared, some viral clips. The torture and just the bullying, the oppression, the attacking Muslims in just random places, like on a bus, on a train, on the street, just random people just happen to, you know, that maybe they could tell that this person was a Muslim, just beating him up, beating up the people, accusing them of eating beef, attacking them. And I saw this one clip that I just could not see. I just stopped it. I just turned away. There was a horrific clip where they had this Muslim and they cut off his tongue. And, you know, it said on there that they made him eat it afterwards. And I mean, I didn't watch when I saw, I didn't know what it was first, and when I saw it, and I saw these people doing it, it really, it traumatized me just seeing that. And I couldn't, like, where has this hate come from? How do you, I don't know, sink so low with such raw emotions to find this kind of hatred? I mean, wow, honestly, it hurts you to see this, to just know that this is going on. And I swear, seriously, by Allah, if, regardless of the people being Muslim, if they were Hindu that was happening to, it would hurt me just as much, regardless of them being Muslim. Obviously, the fact that they're being targeted just for simply being Muslim is obviously that strikes a chord with me, because I'm Muslim. But this is on a human level, I'm saying. How can people sink so low to torture people, to kind of mutilate them, to simply because they follow a different faith? I mean, what is different between those Hindus and those Hindus and those Indian Muslims? Seriously, ethnically, what is different? They're the same people. You know, they're not You know, they're not a migrant community that have moved in. These are those people. But it's shocking, and what the Modi government is doing, spreading this kind of hatred, fueling it, allowing it to persist. They're just destroying what is seriously a magnificent country, India. They've just destroyed it and just let it kind of just wither into this kind of festation of a sickened state. It's just it's sad, honestly. I know some people said, look, it's been happening since 1947, and I think, but recently there seems to be this kind of rise in this negative sentiment. And ya salam, may Allah make things easy. Seriously, I just don't get where this hatred comes from. Where people, I get the fact that you get annoyed with people, I get the fact that and that happens with everybody, but this much hatred, I just, it's sad, honestly, and it's sad for the people who carry this hatred. That, what kind of a miserable existence do they have? But yeah, may Allah, grant ease to each and all.